Have you ever been around one of those mothers that is constantly like, come on, come on? I'm like, I'm tired. I just got up. That's my higher self. I call it spirit. Spirit is energy. So if you hear me say spirit, it's just energy. I'm talking to my higher self. I used to call it me, myself, and I when I was a kid, because it's me, myself, and my higher self. I just didn't know I was enlightened as a child. Actually, I went stigmatic as a child. It's kind of crazy. I was a slightly autistic, highly functioning autistic woman child. I guess we're getting into story time. And my dad had 2 or 3 strokes by the time he was mid-20s, because he was working 3 jobs, trying to raise 3 kids, Asperger's, autistic, and wasn't doing so good. Turned to alcohol, which we all do, for numb the pain. And that was my father. God bless him. He sacrificed himself for me. He actually because autistic people are highly manifesting. Whew. Trust me, you can manifest the devil so easy. It's better to manifest the higher vibe. I'm just saying. It's hard to get in front of the freight train and stop it and like, woohoo, I'm in a good mood, even though fucking shit's coming at me. It's like, what? Oops, did I just say that? Camp's clear to leave. I didn't say that. Anyway. So I was just given this little pony, right? This little pony, no saddle. Dad's like, okay, when you learn how to ride, I'll buy you a saddle. I'm thinking to myself, I'm 3 years old, Dad. I'm 3. I'm 3 years old. I can barely freaking walk. And you want me to ride this little fucking Shetland pony that is just the devil himself? You kidding me? I learned to ride. By God, I learned to ride. I wanted that saddle so bad everybody had a saddle but me. I'm like, I ain't got no saddle. I can't find no goddamn saddle to fit that little pony in me. He's like, where do you find a saddle like that? Sorry, babe. We love you to death, but we can't find anything that's gonna fit that little bastard. He was a little turd too, my God. I finally, that little thing, every tree he found, he would take me to the lowest branch and boom, knock me off. I'm like, boom, talk about trauma. I went riding with my parents one day, and Mom was on Sugar, Buckskin, my dad was on Candida Bay, and man, that bitch, she would bronk. And it'd be like, Dad'd be like, oh, we've been riding all day. It's like, what the I seen him get piled. I don't know how many times. Just like, you know, we've been riding all day. We're like, oh, it's like, you sick and you relaxed on that bitch. She'd be like, boom, I gotcha. I was waiting. I'm a calculating little something bitch. I'm gonna wait. 10 hours I've been waiting. There it is. Oh, yeah, I felt him relax. Whew, whew. I felt him relax. Boom. I'm just a little kid. I'm like, she's gonna kill my father. Like, literally. Her name was Candy and Sugar. Sugar about killed herself. I think she did kill herself. They were both crazy. I don't remember. It was just... And I got this little Shetland pony that was the devil's spawn himself. So we're out riding on this road. And my dad's like, we're like mom and dad on the bus. I'm like 4 years old, maybe 5. I think I was 5. 4. I was 4 years old, they say. Mom and dad's riding on both sides. I'm the little Shetland pony right in the middle. And these little fucking shits are coculating. They're like, no, what are we gonna do? What are we gonna do? What are we gonna do? We're gonna get him. We're gonna get him. Next thing you know, my little bugger, he squirts out, and I'm like, wow, wow, wow. And he's like, tree, boom, flattened, busted my lip open. I'm like, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me right now? And then if there was a pond, we had a pond. He would take me straight for the pond, lay down, and roll in it with me on him. I learned how to ride and be tough by the time I was 4 and 5. Then they bought me Frosty. That was awesome. He was a red gelding with a big dot on his head. He was, he would fart, so nobody wanted to be behind Frosty because he's like, and on the trail, I was like, what? Are you kidding me? I know. I think I was like 6 when I got him, 5 or 6. Because they got tired of me taking me to the doctor with the Shetland pony. I got a lot of trauma. I've been at this whole trauma thing for I don't know how long. It's been this year. When I got diagnosed with cancer, with breast cancer at the end of February, I was like, I got to slow down actually and heal. And so that's when I started realizing, you know, how much trauma I had, because I was like, anytime I even moved my body, it was like pain, 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 pain. I'm like, I'm used to go, 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 you know, and like, you get to moving so much, right? You're like, it's like almost not lubricating, but you just get numb to it. You're like, okay, I can't move that way, and I can't move that way, and I can't move that way, so I just don't do it, right? But you make it all look like you can. It's an Asperger's thing. I'm Asperger's too. It's a bitch. Anyway, I don't even know where I was going with that. But anyway, yeah. So once I slowed down, it's like, then I go to move and I'm like, ow, 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 ow. And I'm like, holy moly, I'm like 48 years old. And I'm not doing so good. I got breast cancer. I got fusions, like 45% fusions in my back. No kidding. No kidding. I was just tough. I was so freaking tough. You could shoot. This is how tough I am. This just happened. I know how tough I am because this has just happened. I'm playing with my dog in the house, and the cat brings in these grass burrs. They got these little pointy spine things that hurt they puncture tires. They flatten tires on the wheelbarrow. Cat brings one in, picks it off his tail, and leaves it there, and I go, blah, 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 boom, and I stop on top of it, literally. Freeze frame. Damn cat. Pick it up, my foot up, bing, boom. It didn't even faze me. It don't faze me. Pain doesn't faze me. I have been in so much pain my whole life. From the time I was born to now. Well, not now, but before, you know, this year. I've been in nothing but pain my whole existence of life. I've never known myself to never be in pain. Can you believe that? Can you imagine a life like that? It's really interesting how pain lowers your vibration. So if you take a really super high vibrating person, like a stigmatic child, see what happened when I was a kid. They put me on Frosty, which he was Frosty was the awesome horse. You could just do whatever, climb up his tail, in between his legs, up his head, fall off him. He'd stand there and wait. He was awesome. Broke to death. I don't know where Dad got him, but I was like, thank you, Dad. I was like, that thing was going to kill me. So I would just go. And we lived, bordered the national forest with no borders, no fences, no nothing. So I was just like gone literally, I would get up before sunup, pack a lunch. I'm 6 years old. Pack a lunch. An extra lunch just in case. You know, we were a little late because I didn't want to be without. I got starved in my last life. In one of my lives, I got starved. Well, it's lack mentality too. Anyway, I still have the saddlebags. These saddlebags are freaking awesome. They're U.S. Postal, Pony Express. Yes. I don't know. My Uncle Floyd, he was badass. He was badass. He was in Folsom Prison, had a guitar signed by Johnny Cash. I mean, it was just like, not Johnny Cash, it was Waylon. It was Waylon. My uncle was such a badass. He went to the bar one night, and this motorbike guy was beating up on this gal, or whacking this gal. He went out and got on his bike, grabbed his 45, walked in the bar with his 45 and shot that guy in the kneecap. Went to jail for it. He's like, I don't fucking care. That's my uncle. Welcome to my family. Bunch of badasses. It's because we're so sensitive. Pain is glued to us. But he got these saddlebags, and they've got the U.S. stamps on them, and they're leather, and they had like the little things that you put the mail in it. The Pony Express, literally. And that was my saddlebags as a child. I use those things every day, and I never wore them out, and I've still got them. They're amazing. They're so cool. I gotta find them. Those are really neat. I did bring them. I know where they're at. Anyway, we'd pack a lunch, and I would go. And a lot of times, I would not come back until after dark. 6 years old. My parents were not neglectful. They just didn't know where the F I was. Ever. Ask my mom. At like 3 years old, she was like wishing I had a rope because I would disappear. In fact, they took me to the MGM Grand Studio. I disappeared, came back with cop on both sides. 3 years old. There they are, they were lost. That's what I told the cops. That's what they told, yeah. I was just really Miss Independent. You know, I just like to explore. You know, it's like world is an oyster. It's like, what is out there? I used to go hunting for treasure all the time, right? And that's what I'm getting ready to do right now. I quit digging. I started digging on a place that I was curious about a couple years ago, 3 years ago when I first moved here, because my stallion would go over there and paw and roll right there. So it's really highly energetic. And I found these pieces of carved stone and hard rock that had faces carved in them and trinkets, you know, you could definitely tell they were carved, right? And so I got him out of there and brushed everything off, all the sand off, and there was these pieces of rock placed into the clay, hard into the clay, in these little patterns, and each rock was carved, and I was like, whoa. And then when you got all the dust, all the sand off, it was almost like a rectangular area right there. I was like, whoa, this is kind of cool. And so I was waiting for an archaeologist to come help me, but nobody wants to come here. So I started digging on it about a month ago, or a couple weeks ago. But it got so hot that the clay gets so hard. I was like, this is just too much for me. I'm trying to heal myself of cancer, and stuff I'm taking is like sun sensitive. So I couldn't spend much time out there, you know, maybe 20 minutes at a time. And then the red ants were there, and I'm just like, it's like one thing or another. So I just do a little bit at a time. It was just spirit trying to get me to do a little bit, because I have a tendency of doing over too much. Just who I am. But it finally rained the last 2 days, and spirit's like, you know, you got buried treasure over there to go dig up, right? And I'm like, yeah. You're like, well, it just rained for 2 days. It softened the ground. Get out there and go dig it. And I'm like, so here I am. Welcome to story time. That's my life. Oh my gosh, I have so many stories. But when you want to talk stigmata, this is the crazy thing. So I was really open as a child, because spirit would lead me. Spirit would lead the horse, because spirit can infuse into the energy of the horse and get the horse to go in certain directions, or, you know, and we just go explore the national forest. I went everywhere. I was looking for treasure. I was looking for caves. I was looking for extraterrestrials. I was looking for UFOs. I see my first UFO at 6 years old. There are so many UFOs out there on the Amnaha. Oh my God, anybody out there in Amnaha is like, lots of UFOs. They're everywhere. It's amazing. So I was always just curious of like everything. I just wanted to find everything. I'm like, I'm like a sponge. Nom, 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 nom. Anything with knowledge. I'm like, gimme. Ask my vet. I annoyed the heck out of him. I had to know everything. I never write it down, But I could tell you what that mare ovulated at 3 years ago. Look him straight in the eye and tell him, well, I got to go look that up. I'm like, oh, this is what it was. And he'd go look it up, and he'd be like, how'd you know that? And I'm like, I don't know. It's just who I am. I don't forget shit. It sucks sometimes. Sorry. I'm working on it. Anyway. So I was really open as a child. And spirit would talk to me. And I couldn't see them. But what I would do is I'd start talking to myself. And what I'd do is I'd start talking like I was the horse. Like I would ask the horse a question, the horse would talk back to me because I didn't have anybody. So it was like, I'd ask a question, the horse would answer back. And I'm like, oh, I already know what the horse is feeling. So I was already intuitive. So that's how I became a really good horse trainer, because I could feel horses and animals. And then, so spirit would just talk to me, and I mean, angels were around me constantly. I was totally protected. I don't know how many times my guides saved my ass. There's a story, oh my God, I'll get into that later. But my mom and dad wanted to go to church one time on the Amnaha. So we drove to town. The town consisted of 23 people. One school. It was a one-room schoolhouse, or two-room schoolhouse, apologize. One tavern, post office, and that was it. 23 people. That was the town of Amnaha. And we were 45 minutes of dirt road just to get to Amnaha. And then it was a 2-hour drive, or an 1.5-hour drive, just to get to Joseph. Just to get milk, if we needed it. We were way out there. Dad's like, I had 2 strokes. I don't need no stress or I'm going to die. I'm going to die. We got to get out of town. We were in Chico, California, so we had to get out. So we got where nobody would ever go. Bum F Egypt. Beyond. But it was awesome, right? I had the best life. Best life. I just got turned loose. And my guides always took care of me. Always got back. There was times I'm like, in the dark, I'm like, I don't know where I'm going. Frosty's like, hey, I do. Just let go of the reins. And I did. And Frosty would always get me home. It was amazing. I love that horse. I had such a great childhood. I miss it so much. The freedom, you know? So great. So we went to church. And I was just like, sponge. I gotta know everything. And I was annoying to them. They're like, I don't know. Just go with the other children. And I'm like, no, preacher, come on. How old is the earth? I'm just like, you know everything. You're like the preacher. You know everything. You're God. Come on. What? And he's like, and then he asked a question, right? And I'd been, in school enough to understand there was dinosaurs a few million years ago, right? When I asked him the question about the earth, he said the earth was like 6,000 years old. I was like, I was probably only like 8, 9 years old, and I'm like, huh? I don't compute. What about the dinosaurs? And he's like, move along, child, move along. And I'm like, move along. He would never answer me. Nobody would ever answer me. So I started getting depressed, and I started getting like nobody wanted to talk to me, and so I started morphing into more of a shell, as you would call an autistic mute, or I just didn't really talk much. I didn't want to be around people. I was like, nobody wants to talk to me, so nobody really likes me, so I'm just going to go stand over here. That's what happens with autistic people. They morph when they don't want to be around things. They just morph into mutes. If the energy is really toxic, they will mute. So I was getting to where I've even got a picture of me just kind of totally recluse, just like, like you would see an autistic child. That was after being around people. Turn me loose with nobody, I'm just like a free spirit child. I am now too. It took me 3 years of detoxing people alone to start becoming who I was. I forgot who I was. I was like, oh my God, I have to act like this. I have to act like that. I have to act like this. And it's like, I don't want to act like that because it feels unnatural. And I don't want to act like that because that feels unnatural. And I've tried on all these little costumes and I'm like, these are not me. It doesn't feel natural. But this right now, this feels natural. This is me. And I'm like, you know what? F being everybody else. I'm going to be effing me. I'm a little different, which is awesome. I'm an intuitive psychic medium biatch. I'm telling you what. Wait until you find out what I channeled last night. OMG. Dude, you gotta, I'm like, where are we at? Okay, you guys gotta hang on for this one. Holy, this is an ancient secret that I'm going to release right now. Okay. I love Spirit. Spirit's awesome. You guys are going to love Spirit too, because Spirit has the best information to get our health going. Okay, so our navel, our little belly button right there. Oh yes, I got a little tattoo. Yep, right there. So our little navel right there is hooked up to our mother, our birth mother. And that is where all of our nutrition and our whole life system, support, our support. That navel is our support of life. Wrap your head around this for a minute. Our navel is our support for life. Without our navel, we do not exist. That's our support. It's our support system. You know that lint, they call it belly button lint? That's not lint. You know what that is? Candida yeast. You have a yeast infection. I researched it last night because I was like, this is weird, gross, and what? I had a friend of mine do one of those computer tests where they test everything in your body. And it's a science, it tests everything, and it's accurate. It was like, you have Candida infection. And I'm like, I don't have a yeast infection. I have never had a yeast infection. It's like a body. And I'm like, I don't get it. I don't feel like I have a yeast infection. I feel fine. I don't have anything. I don't have eczema. I don't have anything. I mean, I'm kind of like tired and, just like, but it's aging, right? I'm 48. It's just part of age, right? And I've got cancer and I've got deteriorating joint disease, and I've got this, and I've got that, and I've got fusions and bone spurs, and, it's just typical aging stuff, right? No, it's not. It's a Candida yeast infection. Years, 50 years, 60 years, 70 years, 80 years of yeast infections in your body, growing yeast. You know what that does to your body? Creates sickness and disease. Everything can just hook right up to you. Anything that you can be prone to is going to get you, because your body is going to be fighting a yeast infection nonstop. Isn't that gross? Isn't that gross? You have a yeast infection in your belly button that is spreading throughout your whole blood system, because your belly button is where your blood system is, right? I was like, ew! Ew! I'm like, ew! And Spirit's telling me this while I'm taking a Dead Sea salt bath last night, because I take a Dead Sea salt bath every night. I do so much energy work every day that I have to transmute so much energy that I have to take a Dead Sea salt bath every night. And so they're like, grab the Q-tips. I'm like, okay, I can do that. Scrubbing out the belly button. And I mean scrubbing it out. In and out, all around, in that salt water. But the thing is, Spirit didn't tell me what I was doing earlier that morning. I was doing my DMSO treatment, which I'm using DMSO to cure my cancer. DMSO is an inflammation killer, right? So I have DMSO in a formula right now. I have a concoction that I put together with the DMSO as the carrier. It's what makes everything work. I have the formula, and this is what makes everything work. It's amazing. In fact, the FDA won't put it through at all. They've been trying for 20 years, and they've proven it kills cancer. They've proven it kills Parkinson's disease. They've proven it kills all this shit, because they could cure everything in $5. Boom, it's done. So I'm doing my DMSO treatment yesterday morning. I do a scalp treatment because I'm finding that the more I loosen my scalp, see, I don't even hardly have any wrinkles anymore. And I've been in the sun my whole life as a child. Look at that. hardly any wrinkles. I'm 48 years old and have been in the sun my whole life as a child riding horses. Look at that. You know why? I've never had Botox. I've never had anything. There's been no needles that ever touched my face. It's because the scalp treatments and then the manipulation is loosening the scalp, because it's taking all the inflammation out. Plus, the DMSO breaks the blood-brain barrier, so it goes into the brain and it kills inflammation and it kills cancer. So if you have plaque, if you have brain cancer, guess what? Spirit says it's going to cure cancer, whatever cancer you got. Literally, this stuff works systemically. You can put it in your navel. And it can work on your brain. Because what it does is it hits your blood supply. And it's a free radical scavenger. So that thing goes in there is like anything that is not 100% homeostasis to your body. Can you even believe that? With the formula that I have concocted, Hecla lava, research Hecla lava, it dissolves bones, calcium deposits, right? So I put that in there, and then this carrier takes everything that I put in there, including biosalts and other things, and I get nanoparticle sized when I get, and tinctures that I put in there, that is all small molecular. So when I take this DMSO as a carrier, it's an oil based, right? So when I put this formula in there, and then I put the DMSO, I'm up to like a tablespoon of DMSO. 2 tablespoons. I do 1 morning and 1 evening of DMSO a day, but 1 tablespoon at a time. So I do a tablespoon in the morning with this formula, mix it up, and then shoot it on an empty stomach. And what that's going to do is coat your mouth, your esophagus, all the way down, and take all of that formula all the way down there. So if you have any issue anyway, all the way down, it's going to coat it. And then what it does is it goes, as soon as that oil sticks, it's going to stick all that stuff and coat it, right? So then all of a sudden that DMSO takes instantly, it's a carrier, and it goes through the skin, through everything, into the bloodstream and into the bone, into everything. So what it's going to do is it's going to go outwards. So it's going out to your spine also, carrying all those things to where it needs to go so much quicker. It's just like boom, 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 boom. It's like instant. It's amazing. So you do this in an empty stomach, and then about 20 minutes later, you go do the ancient sun mudras that I have been graciously given by my higher self. I call it Dowsing. These are done on energy, so they're done on energy and vibration. So when you have a body that is getting rid of inflammation and is like, it's like the inflammation is fragile and your muscles are getting stronger and everything else is getting stronger. And then you go out and do the Dowsing. So you do a stretch and then you vibrate your whole body, which I can teach everybody how to engage their Bindu chakra, and then you vibrate your whole body of light. It's super easy. And when you do that, your whole body vibrates. I can feel vibrations down to my toes, literally. And the inflammation just like zzz, and just disappears. And then if you have big chunks like scar tissue, it snaps and pops. It's amazing. And then all of a sudden it's like that thing that hurt, it don't hurt no more. And I'm like, but then, then all of a sudden, like the next day, there's another hurt. I'm like, well, it's the same hurt. No, it's another layer of the hurt. You got to extend. Because what happens is in the muscles, the tendons, joints, nerves, everything in your body, even the bone. Anytime you have an injury, which I've had how many in my life? As we've known from past experiences that we've talked about, a lot. So, anytime you have an injury, you have trapped lymphatic fluid. Okay, so when you have a bruise, blood and lymphatic fluid are mixed. That's a bruise. And then when the bruise goes away, the blood disappears, but there's trapped lymphatic fluid stuck inside the bone, or on the outside of the bone. That's the bumps on like the shins. You're like brrr, up and down the shins. You're like, whoa. Mine are almost completely gone now. And I've had, I'm an ex-barrel racer. Don't talk about hurt shins and knees. But this trapped lymphatic fluid gets stuck on the bone. It gets stuck inside the muscles, the tendons, the joints, everything. But they're microscopic. you can't, and it's almost like you can't even see them. They're microscopic. But what they do is they build up and they harden after years and years and become crystallized. And when they become crystallized, you can't stretch as far as you used to. It hurts to really stretch, right? So after you ingest this stuff for a while, guess what? It softens that stuff back up into kind of a liquid almost. And then when you stretch and vibrate, it just pops out of the muscles, tendons, joints, and everything and resets everything. And all of a sudden, you have muscles that feel like my neck. It was so traumatized. I fell off the changing table at 2 months old on my head. 2 months. Being born is traumatized enough for your head because you're like, people need to reset everything after the babies are born like they used to in the ancient days. They had to. Otherwise, it stops your DNA. And then after eons of not doing it correctly, your DNA shuts down. That's why only 12 strands on everybody else. I've opened up all 24 strands of my DNA. You have 24 strands of DNA. The scientists, though, only see 12 active strands on a normal person. And the other 12 strands they call dummy DNA. It's like, no, we've just dumbed ourselves down and shut them down over eons. That's all it is. But you can wake them back up, and I can show you how to do that. So anyway, back to the stigmatic thing. So I went to church, and I kind of shut myself down. And they talked about baptism, and I wanted to be baptized. And so I got baptized in Maha River. And when you have an autistic child that is full belief of everything she does, 100%, be baptized by somebody that thinks that is the hand of God. Like literally, I didn't know another preacher in the world. This is the first preacher I knew. I thought he was the hand of God. I thought he, literally, oh my God, I just realized that. Oh my gosh, I must be channeling. I just realized that. I just had an epiphany. I had so much faith in him as a preacher. When he touched me, I became stigmatic. Oh my gosh. Not through him, but through God. Because I thought I was touched by the hand of God. So I thought God was reaching through. Oh, that's what it was. I was trying to figure out how the heck I went stigmatic as a child. Because if you go stigmatic through religion, you get the stigmatic wounds and you bleed through the eyes and you bleed through the wound, and that's your stigmata because it's a lower vibration because you're worshiping the preacher. No, you're worshiping Jesus because Jesus was a man born of earth. Anything that's born of earth is a lower vibration compared to God. Easiest way to say it. So you do never worship anything but God. Jesus was here to show you the way to get to God. It wasn't through him. He was here giving you the answer. It's within you. The answer is within you. You and God only. Not me, you and God. It's not me. It's not God, me, and you. It's you and God. That's the way it's supposed to be. That's what Jesus wanted you to know, but the church has twisted it to get you to step down out of your power so they could take the power. And that's what they're doing now with the New World Order. Anyway, back to... you tap into that energy. I don't even want to talk about that stuff. I want to go talk about that buried treasure over there that I'm going to go dig up here pretty quick. But anyway, when I came out of the river, I just remember I felt changed. I felt light as a feather. And I was already, well, at that time I was starting to shut myself down because, I was really Spirit says I was really shutting myself down because the people around me didn't understand me. I was asking too many questions all the time and I wanted to know everything about everything and I was driving everybody nuts. Everybody's like, go away, child, go away, child. And I was just like, and everybody so that's why I shut down. So when I came out, I thought God reached through that preacher and touched me. So I felt I was touched by God, not a preacher. I felt I was being touched by God. I felt God reach through. I did. I'm kind of going back right now. I felt that's what it was. I felt God reach through him and touched me. And it made me stigmatic. And I remember coming out of that river just like, I was a changed girl. I mean, I was I was preaching God to everybody, you know, and I was just happy, and I was a new. And then nobody wanted to talk about God. Nobody wanted to talk to me. Nobody, I was like, go away, child. And I'm like, and this is not to do with my family, but this is just everybody I was around there. Everybody was just like, you're just too much. I've always been too much. Isn't that sad? My personality is too much for everybody as a child. And that's why I've been my whole life. And and I have an epiphany right now. It just dawned on me. That's why I was guided 2 nights ago to watch this movie. And I've never watched it. I borrowed it from a friend. And it hit home. Sorry. Robin Williams, Patch Adams. I was like, whoa, that's me. That is me. Such a personality in a world of it's hard to exist. It's hard to exist when you're highly functioning autistic people. Anyway, any autistics. Okay, I'm just gonna let it out. If you call yourself an empath, you're an autistic. Welcome to the family. God bless. We're here for a purpose. We're here to change the world and make the world feel a little bit more feeling, because the world's dead right now. The world needs us, because feeling is what creates love. You can't create love if your feelings are shut down. And that's what the New World Order is trying to get you to do, is to shut your feelings down so you can't create out of love, you create out of fear. And I'm here to wake the world up. I realized with Patch Adams, because I've been trying to figure out who I was. I've been around narcissists my whole life, because that's what a super sensitive empath draws in, that's wounded, is narcissists. And it's nobody's fault. It's not even the narcissist's fault. They're just acting out this energy that I'm sending out, and they have to act it out. Whatever I give out has to come back to me by the law of attraction. It's just so. So it's not even their fault. They're just like programmed like robots to do my energy. I mean, it's a sucky way to say it, but it's just like if you go over there and tell somebody to F off, the other person's probably going to tell you to do the same, right? What you give, you're going to get. That's about the best way to say it. My actions are going to cause reactions by subconscious programming that is in my energy. So that's why it's really important to understand energy and subconscious energy that you can't see, because that's the most important. What you see is a figment of nothing. What you can't see is everything, because that will trick you up every time. It's what you can't see, because you don't realize you're being led down the wrong path nonstop, because it feels comfortable, because you've done it your whole life. Why? Well, probably because you have a Candida yeast infection. I don't know where we were going for that one, but it was like, there it is. I think we just made a whole circle right there. Whew, that was fun. My goodness, okay. 3844. I love it. I love the way Spirit synchronizes everything. 38 is 11. 44 is a master number. And then you have 8. 9, 10 is a new beginning. So I had to tell you about the DMSO because that's what I'm using to cure my cancer. So that yesterday morning, we're going back. Yesterday morning, I was like, I think I'm gonna put a little DMSO on my belly button, because I'm reading this book now that I got on DMSO, and I'm like, this is like really cool. Like, there's been other people that have done this too, and I'm like, this is really cool. So they were giving advice to put it in your ears, making eye drops for your eyes, and then your nose for helping the inflammation in your sinuses, and also your belly button. I was like, belly button? But I don't know, because what the scientists explained was the belly button has a ton of scar tissue. Well, yeah, you cut it and, you know, it's been pulled on and it's dense anyway. And then it's shoved up there and then it's never touched, right? A lot of scar tissue. So I understand now as I'm taking scar tissue off my body, how much better your body feels with no scar tissue. So if you take the inflammation and scar tissue out of the navel, as I did, because after I did everything yesterday, my whole belly was like vibrating, like, I was like, whoa, this is really a great, it felt like it was open and just like, it did like I could breathe. That was weird. It was a really weird feeling after I did the whole thing. But I put DMSO in my belly button yesterday morning and left it in there. I just made sure there was nothing that, you know, run down, because DMSO is a carrier. So you don't want to put it next to your clothes because it'll carry your clothes in your skin. Not kidding you. It's that potent. It's nothing but wood pulp paper, sulfur. It's derived from wood pulp paper. It's a sulfur product. It's natural to body. You could bathe in a tub of it and you'd be fine. You could drink it would be fine. It's safer than aspirin. No kidding. But the FDA loves to just make it all be scary, scary, scary. Because I even tested it. I put some DMSO in a rubber glove to see if I could use rubber gloves, because I was kind of scared of it at first. And the next morning it was leaking. So it was eating the rubber glove. And I'm like, how can the body? No, what it does is it eats anything that is unnatural. Sulfur, is natural to our body. Therefore, anything that is in our body that is natural. But scar tissue is not. Scar tissue is not 100% natural homeostasis. And so it melts everything into that nice elastic muscle, like a baby's muscle. But I'm strong. You know, I'm not average. So it's not like it weakens you, it strengthens you. Plus it kills all fungus, bacteria, viruses. They were using it for COVID. They use it for COVID to cure COVID. They IV it in your IV at the hospital if you're having a stroke, and it stops a stroke like that. They put a little DMSO on you and then put medicine on you, so they don't have to put any of the extras. No fillers or nothing. It goes straight into the bloodstream. It's awesome stuff. And it gets rid of all trauma. I've had broken ankles and everything, and my ankles are working so much better. I mean, it's just, everything is just like, whew. Now I've been drinking it, so it goes systemically, so it's going to my cancer. So wherever it needs to go, it goes. So I drink it, and then it's gonna go straight to my cancer and just eat that cancer alive. And what it's doing is it is making my hard cancer pliable and soft now. And I'm just drinking DMSO, and guess what? It's great for you. So guess what? Putting it in your belly button, it kills viruses, right? And kills fungus, right? Yes, it does. You can look it up. You put it in your navel. I didn't know I was doing it for that. I just like, I'm just going to put it in my navel for the scar tissue. But it's killing the fungus. And then it's taking it through the navel, getting the scar tissue to relax. And then after that, it is going into the bloodstream and killing all the fungus. So you're killing your yeast infection at the core. Now, I have been researching this last night, and they have never found the root cause of a Candida yeast infection. They know everybody has yeast in their body. They don't know why. It causes all kinds of depression, lack of, fog, brain fog, and I mean, I feel like a freaking $1 billion right now. Like I'm just like, wow. I did mine yesterday, and I'm like a new woman today. I started feeling better after I started putting it I put it in my belly button yesterday morning, and I already started feeling a little better and better and better and better and better. And then I cleaned it out with the salt water, all the crevices. Then I have emu oil, emu oil, just a little dab, and then put it in there, all the crevices, because you're going to get it in the crevices, because that's where they get like the folds, that stuff. That's where the yeast infection likes to hide, and then it grows the lint. That's a yeast infection. Isn't that gross? You have a yeast infection, go get a DMSO and clean your belly button. I could just see everybody running, I gotta get my belly button cleaned. Isn't that gross though? But nobody's found why we have yeast infections. I know now. Isn't that awesome? This is the ancient secret knowledge that you can find out here on this channel on Enlightened Energy with me, Nicole Renee. I am so blessed to be able to get this kind of information. Not only do I get to enhance my health, I get to enhance your health too, so we can grow as a community and get healthier and healthier and healthier, so there will be no new world order. In fact, it's going to be a new world order by the time I'm done with it, because me and God are going to co-create a brand new world order. And it's a world of health, where everybody helps everybody else. Everybody grabs the next person and helps them up. When they've stepped up, you step down and you grab the next person, you pull them up. And you be thankful. You're always thankful for everything that you have and everything you've ever been, and every pain and every tear you've ever cried, because it's gotten you where it's gotten you. And when you're like that, guess what? The universe is like, oh, you're thankful for that? Let's give you more things to be thankful for. Oh, more things to be thankful for. More things to be thankful for. More things to be thankful for. But if you're like, I ain't thankful for nothing. The world sucks. I'm going to die. This is shit. Nah. Then it's like, oh, the world's like, oh, you want more shit? Oh, you want more crap? Oh, here you go. How you like that? Oh, you want more? Oh, you want to die? Oh, okay. That's the universe. The universe don't give a crap about good or bad, how you feel. You have bad week, year, 10 years. It's going to give you what you want. It's hard to get ahead of that freight train. Stop it. But that freight train's the devil. Come on, die. Do bad things, because it makes you feel bad by the time you're done. Then that guilt makes you feel more guilt, and that guilt breeds for more guilt, and that guilt is just more devil. Come on, it's fun, right? It's comfortable. You've been there your whole life. We might as well have more of it, right? Because as I've found, the more trauma that I release, which I call scar tissue, bone fusions, all these fusions are gone. I think I have maybe one in my lower back where I have a little issue down there, but it's like ready to crack. But I mean, my neck was completely fused and to the side and over, and it was from falling up, from hitting my head and ponies and everything. But I'm telling you what, I can do things now with my body that I've never been able to do. And I've never not been in pain in my whole life. And every time I break a little bit more, my vibration raises. And so you have a stigmatic that shut herself down. I actually manifested, because everybody, after I went stigmatic as a child, everybody's like, get away from me, child, you're just too much. You're like, I'm just like, and just like, go away. So, yeah. I've got so many stories. Anyway, I shut myself down through I manifested being molested by my neighbor. And it was because I wanted to just shut myself down. I was like, I didn't want to be that open. It was scary no, it wasn't scary to be that open. It was just that nobody understood me. Nobody could understand me talking to my guides and angels and all these things, and and asking questions. So I just manifested being shut down, and that's how it happened, was through my neighbor molesting me. So then at that time I just as soon as he touched me, I disassociated. I'm like, I'm not even here no more. Like I'm driving a three-wheeler, right, while he's molesting me, and I'm coherent, and that's how I learned to do what I do, because I was driving a three-wheeler and he was on behind me getting a ride, and then he, and I couldn't do anything about it, and I was scared to death. So I'm just driving, right, and I'm like, so I learned to disassociate my body with my mind. That way I didn't feel anything. So that was, so at that time I learned to disconnect emotionally from everything in my life that could hurt me. And I learned to do that. So that I became really good at like masking, as the autistics would say, masking. I would always have a smile and always be chipper, but be just completely the opposite inside, like depressed and just wanting to die. Suicidal my whole life. I mean, from the time I was 16, I was suicidal. I think I wrote my first suicidal note at 16. It was just like crazy. Because you're just so miserable. You went out. That's the Asperger's. That's why Robin Williams committed suicide. because you just can't take it sometimes, you know. People don't understand. People just don't understand at all. And like when I was watching Robin, it was like, holy cow. That's kind of, I mean, I'm not like that wild, but you know, I'm just a happy person. But when I'm around a lot of negative people, it just drains the out of you. I'm telling you what. So sometimes it's just best not to be around anybody, you know, until you can kind of hold your own energy, and then you can come in and be who you are around people and lift their energy up. Because I just realized that with Patch Adams, he was the way he was who he was, no matter who was around him, how mean they were. And the one girl that he finally fell for, and she fell for him, she was the rudest at all. And he never stopped. He never quit. He never quit. He never quit. And then she finally just was like, I didn't want to love you because I've been hurt before. And I was like, wow, that was like totally me. I called myself like the Tin Man in The Wizard of Oz, no heart. I've never really had a heart because I was so scared of opening my heart again, because it got hurt so bad that I just forgot how to use it. I didn't know I had it. It's like, when it's shut down at like a really young age, how do you use it again? I mean, it's like, so that's been my journey to actually bring my heart back into me and be who I am, and not care if anybody don't get me, because I'm not meant for anybody to get but me. And the right people will click with the right people. That's the thing with everybody. Everybody needs to be unique in how they truly feel. And everybody, it's funny because when you watch Patch Adams, if you get to watch that, it's a true story. He infected everybody with his vivaciousness and his sunny personality and his weird ways. He'd go into this, it's like a big bowling ball of pins. He'd be the bowling ball, and all the pins would be like the everybody was just crabby around him. By the time he was done, he knocked everybody over, and everybody's playing like kids. And that's truly what we want to do all the time, is play like kids. We want to be free. We want to be free, and when we can't be free and somebody else is free, we get jealous, and that jealousy breeds to anger, and that jealousy and anger breeds to low vibration. And when you manifest at a low vibration and you're a high vibration person, you manifest really fast. So it's really hard to get ahead of that fate train, stop it, and then just think, you know what, it's all going to work out. I'm not going to get hurt. And just open your heart up to the world and see what happens. I don't even know where that one was going, but we're like almost an hour in, and I'm ready to, I guess it's still raining, so I can't quite go and, you know, dig yet, but at least it's moistening the ground more, so I can go dig easier. Spirit, my guides are like, come on. I swear, I can't see them, but I can, it's like peripheral vision. I can't see them, but I can feel them, right? On my bed this morning. Like kids, like, come on, Nicole, come on, get up. We gotta go dig. And I'm like, I'm kind of a little sore. I've been working on my body a little bit more, you know, and I'm like, I'm extending my neck back out and putting it back up where it should be. And, you know, I got into some new territory, and it's like a little sore, and they're like, come on. And I'm like, so here I am. I guess I'm awake enough now to dig. Oh. I have an interesting life. Welcome to my real life. Not the old fake life that I used to be. It's funny because everybody's like, I wish you'd go back to the old way you. And I'm like, oh, the one where I conformed, the one that I did everything everybody wanted me to do, and I was trying to fit in? Nah. All I did was kill myself for nothing. Nobody liked me anyway. Everybody was too competitive with me. Competition is the worst. It's not about competition with anybody else but you and God. Have a blessed day. I'm gonna go dig buried treasure.